Several families on Lookout Mountain are not staying in their homes tonight as the wildfire atop the mountain inches closer to their homes. Thanks for watching. I'm Melissa Sperato. The Tatum Gulf Fire in Dade County is just one of 100 the Georgia Forestry Commission is working on. This one has burned nearly 200 acres and is only 500% contained. Since this afternoon, firefighters have been working to establish fire protection around those evacuated homes. That's where we find News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur, who's near that evacuated neighborhood. Alana.
Alyssa, I want you to take a look at these flames behind me. They might seem worrying, but those are actually burnout lines set by the Georgia Forestry Commission. They're designed to get rid of anything that could potentially make the fire bigger and protect people's homes. Since Friday, Georgia Forestry Commission crews have worked to fight the Tatum Gulf Fire with fire.
We were doing little burnouts in between each parcel just to mitigate that fuel load. Basically walking the fire along on our terms.
Seth Hawkins of the Georgia Forestry Commission says these burnout lines are about a half-mile away from the closest home. Saturday afternoon, crews evacuated people living in the Lookout Highlands subdivision.
We evacuated it essentially just to try to get a little bit of working room, a little bit of elbow room in there. The fire's coming up the bluff right up on the subdivision, and we just wanted to try to do these prescribed burnouts.
Hawkins says with fire, there's always a risk, but he doesn't anticipate homes in the neighborhood will catch fire. Marshall Stinnett lives a few yards away from the fire close to Lookout Highlands and has watched it all unfold.
The only thing I can say is it's the Lord's will. He'll take care of everybody. All you can do is have the faith, and you can pray on the fire.
It's a strong faith that will come in handy as the fire continues.
We've been in this prolonged drought. Not only is it so dry, we've also been battling really low humidity all the time.
The Georgia Forestry Commission says they don't know yet when people will be able to go back home, but if they need it, there is a shelter set up at the Trenton United Methodist Church. For now, reporting live from Dade County, Alana LaFleur, News Channel 9.
Alana, thank you. That's not the only fire burning atop Lookout Mountain. GFC is also working on the Cloverdale fire that's burned 500 acres and is 40% contained. GFC says the two fires will eventually come together to form one. The lack of rain is providing no relief for crews as they work to contain several wildfires in Hamilton County. As they put one out, a new one pops up. Allison Levine spent the day with firefighters as new challenges arose in their fight against the ones on Mowbray and Signal Mountain.
Smoke and haze blanket Mowbray and Signal Mountains.
We're all smoked in here.
Conditions that make fighting growing wildfires extremely difficult for Florida forestry crews.
We're going to wait to see if the wind pushes this out a little bit this morning. If not, then they probably will not be able to do airstrikes.
Air quality and visibility are just a few concerns for these crews.
The fire hose right here.
The fires in Hamilton County present unique challenges.
Because of the terrain around here, we can't just dive off a lot of these cliffs and so forth and to stop the fire. So we're going to have to find different routes.
Park Service officials use four-wheelers to reach the flames. When they arrive, every tool in their arsenal is used to contain the burn. But with wildfires raging across the South, one key resource is getting harder and harder to attain. Probably
our biggest challenge right now is just getting people here. We're all fighting for resources right now.
While forestry crews can contain the fires, only one force can extinguish their threat.
Unfortunately, really, Mother Nature is going to put the fire out.
Allison Levine with that story. The Mowbray Mountain, Flipper Bend, and Poe Road fires have burned a collective 1,600 acres. Police in Saudi Daisy are asking people not to stop on the shoulder. Officers say people are stopping at Highway 27 at Saudi Lake to watch the helicopters getting water. Saudi Daisy's police chief says this hinders the helicopter's pilots who have to fly away from where the people are for safety. Police say any and all accidents caused by you stopping will result in you being at fault. If you were anywhere in the Chattanooga area on 27, you probably saw this. This is what it looked like near ML King Boulevard earlier this afternoon. News Channel 9's viewer Bet Wallace took the video passing through. This is just one of several grass fires that popped up on 27 and 24 this afternoon, according to the Chattanooga Fire Department. Good news is all those grass fires are out. Wildfires are continuing to cause major havoc in parts of North Carolina. The Tellico and Boatler fires have burned almost 20,000 acres combined. Evacuation orders have been lifted for portions near that area. Officials are asking residents to remain vigilant and aware of fire and air quality conditions. State officials say at least 20 wildfires across the state are suspected arson. Some of these fires have forced the state to shut down a number of its state parks. The combination of smoke and fog could make for a dangerous commute in the morning. Bill Race is here to tell us more on that and when rain is expected in our forecast. Bill.
Well, first of all, the rain chances very small over the next 7-day period and even beyond, even up to 10 days. But we do have a chance of showers Saturday. That's still holding out some hope for some rain then. Now, this morning was a good example. Some areas, especially in the smoky areas, I think was enhancing some of the fog around here for a time. But being it was a Sunday morning, not so much traffic. But tomorrow morning, we could see that again. And I do want you to be aware that the visibilities could be low in many areas. So the fire risk remains extreme. Tonight's wind is light. West wind tomorrow 5 to 10, picking up a little, and humidities are still low, 40%. And I was talking to some folks about this, and it really is like 50% lowest humidity, where you can actually get a little benefit from that moisture. So 40% is still a problem. And the forecast for air quality tomorrow obviously is in the unhealthy for sensitive groups, but that number that they have up for tomorrow at 101 maybe a little low. The last couple days we've been more like around 160 or so, and that is into that unhealthy period group. So we will have more on our weather coming up. Back to Alyssa now.
Bill, thank you. Crews from across the region and the country are making their way here to help fight those fires. James Torres spoke to a number of out-of-town workers on how the mutual and foreign aid is so important.
From our backyards to along state lines, and now from across the country.
The nice thing is we're robust enough of an organization that we've been able to fill all the resources.
Forestry organizations and firefighters from out of town assisting the crews here to fight a battle lasting weeks.
They've had many fires going for many weeks, so it puts a strain on the resources, and after a while, you know, your people just get exhausted. They've been running fires for quite some time.
That's why agencies from Lynchburg, Nevada, and Florida have come to our area.
Our primary goal is life safety, and we want to make sure that we come back after every shift and that the people that we're assisting stay safe as well.
The different crews carry different tasks. The Florida Forestry Service helps with incident and crew management, whereas the Tri-State Mutual Aid Group says they help against structural threats.
You know, there's a lot of subdivisions, you know, in and adjacent to where these fires are burning. So we'll go in there and make sure that, you know, if a fire jumps out of the fire line, that we're there to help them handle that and to protect all the structures and residences.
Hamilton County Emergency Services are also helping against the threats to structures. As of today, crews say none are being threatened. I'm James Torres reporting.
The Florida Forestry Service will be in the area for the next 2 weeks. If the fires are still active then, they say a new agency will take their place. Fighting these constant fires means long hours and time away from family. We asked those forestry officials how they're coping with the weeks-long endeavor.
Being away from home is definitely a challenge. You know, we're usually gone for at least 16 days. It's usually a 14-day assignment on the line, where travel time and everything makes it 16 days. With technology now, it's getting easier.
Jason Longfellow says they typically work 16-hour days, go to a hotel, sleep, and then come back a few hours later. He says they usually don't smell clean air until they get to their hotel room. As several new fires spark and rekindle, the Georgia Forestry Commission says you can start a wildfire without even realizing it. Officials like Fire Chief Bruce Ballou with Fort Oglethorpe says it all comes down to common sense.
I'm sure that they wish that people would just take a serious note. If you don't need to burn anything, don't burn it.
Georgia Forestry says throwing out lit cigarette butts and not lighting fireworks are some things that you can do to not spark one. And remember, 5 counties in our viewing area are under a statewide burn ban. That's Marion, Hamilton, Bledsoe, Polk, and Sequatchie. A violation of that could result in a reckless burning charge that is a hefty fine or time in jail. Donations continue pouring in for firefighters and forestry officials that continue to fight these fires. Tonight, Walden Ridge Emergency Service posted these photos on their Facebook page that show them separating out donations for 2 stations. In the post, they say their immediate needs have been more than met, but if you still feel the need to donate, this is what they say they'd like to have: eye drops, N95 masks, contact solution, thermal blankets, and anything else you may want to bring. Walden's Ridge is a nonprofit with a 60-member volunteer fire department, so they're also accepting cash donations that will go towards anything from equipment to firefighter clothing and any other expenses.